Hey, it's another day in paradise, right? Yeah, whatever. Well, I just want to let you know that today is the day that we answer what, when, why, where, and who's involved. I'm going to tell you some names, and you're going to look them up on JUSTIA, JUSTIA, on Google. Do the Google search and look up Crossan, CRO, S as in Sam, S as in Sam, O Nancy, versus the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Christopher Wray, and a few others named. The names are mentioned. All you got to do is open it up and read through it, okay? So noting that those were filed January 2nd and January 3rd, 2025 in Concord, New Hampshire, we're now turning in the paperwork with the answers to the magistrate that asked, what happened? When did it happen? Where? Who? Why? Well, good question. For Tara Tucker of Greenland, New Hampshire to answer, the Chief of Police of Greenland, as well as the town manager, as well as the officer, Michael Drake, as well as his other little friends that he included that were sitting in all these various places throughout the day, just waiting, weren't they, to pull up on me or pull me over? Well, they didn't do it, and he was so desperate to do so that he sat behind me April 7th, 2024. Early in the morning, he was over at the TA truck stop in Greenland, New Hampshire. For what fucking purpose? Okay, it was stormy weather throughout that weekend. I had just traveled up from South Carolina. I was heading home to Maine, and he interrupted. He interrupted with his frivolous activity, and then, along the way, he made me aware that he knows my husband, who's under many different identities. So, is it because he was pee-pee puffing with him? Or is he still pee-pee puffing with him? Michael Drake, you should be answering those questions. But because you couldn't answer and you had to go through search my vehicle unwarrantedly, and then you people seized my vehicle and put marijuana in it, didn't you? That's why the case got dismissed before it went to court. You even asked for me to have a psychiatric evaluation, a competency hearing, and requested that I have a public defender represent me. Well, it all happened in my favor because that public defender from Exeter, New Hampshire, got the case dismissed. And now, because it was dismissed, that's frivolous activity, malicious prosecution, and a lot more. Kidnapping me. You had no business doing what you did to me. And then you put me into an anxiety, distress, medical condition with my heart and pacemaker. So I ended up in the Portsmouth hospital. They didn't read the paperwork, hence the fact. That's the other lawsuit against Portsmouth, New Hampshire Hospital, because they falsely diagnosed and they mistreated, as well as neglected, and sent me out the door. Then I was tossed into a jail cell, and I wasn't fed properly. I was only given chips, little bags of Frito-Lay potato chips. Every time I see them in the store or in a restaurant, I get PTSD again. So, with that being said, I got to answer all these questions, and I've already written down all the answers. I recorded it, and it's printed, and it's going to the U.S. District Court today. So along with that goes with the fact that the medical department tried to label that I had alcohol in my system. I don't drink alcohol. Everybody that knows me knows I don't drink alcohol. I don't even use mouthwash that has alcohol in it. So with that being said, I made a fuss about it. Also, I was told the following morning before I went to see a judge that I was labeled suicidal. Well, who labeled me that? I had just been cleared from the Portsmouth hospital, noting that I was in medical distress with my pacemaker. So again, leading back to misdiagnosis, mistreatment, and illegal as well as malicious and frivolous prosecution. Okay? It all circles around. And it starts in Bethlehem, New Hampshire. It goes to Littleton, New Hampshire, up to Northeast Kingdom, Vermont, as far as Derby Line, where Kayla Wright was shot dead in the head after she came forward about Jeffrey Noyce, the ex-chief of police. And that was after I came forward with it. But that's because I don't stop coming forward with it, and I've been talking about it since 2007 when my children were illegally taken from me through DCF in Vermont. The Vermont State Trooper Detective Rio Robillard and his wife that was a school bus driver from Troy, Vermont, and he still works with the police in Vermont, right? As a detective. So if you were such a good fucking detective, why did I get my children taken from me? It's not because I did something wrong and I was already found not guilty by the judge, but because I have a pacemaker, decided to continue and terminate my parental rights. And I got the paperwork right with me. So I suggest any of you talking shit about me and the fact that my children grew up without a mother, no they didn't. I was every day there and willing to be in their fucking lives. But the fathers, being one, a drunk that I left many moons ago, and the other, is he the dope boy or is he the police officer? One of the two in Skowhegan, Maine. Joel Cummings? What about the Keatons? Can you remember anything about when I first became a mother? Anybody watching and listening, come forward. Because that would mean you'd remember about William Asher, my husband that married me under a false name, was married to many others. It was in the newspaper. It was chasing me through the media like the fucking paparazzi for 3 fucking years. Me and my children, we couldn't go anywhere. We even went to Florida, Orlando to get away on vacation, and we were popped up on by the media. Okay? And so I remind you that there were pictures put out there a year ago Christmas of my daughter laying in a hospital bed, put out by social media in the area of Brunswick, Westbrook area of Maine. That would lead back to the podcasters and the media directors, such as William Asher, in your area. So I'm going to ask you again, people, pay attention. Look up the lawsuits on JUSTIA. Google search them and find out whose names are listed. Because it's not only Greenland PD that's hiding the information, it's Portsmouth. That would be James Caldwell. The officer that took the case was Seth Tonbolt. And the chief of police is very well aware of it. Okay? So is Officer Ellis, because he's the one that served William in the beginning. And now all of this has surfaced, circling around as William's other marriage certificate holder works at Rochester Home Depot in the paint department. So with that being said, I'm going to ask you all once again, pay attention, because I'm getting distressed. And I'm going to be carrying out all of the interrogations because I am the pro se litigant and plaintiff against U.S. Attorney General in New Hampshire, ×2, the FBI, the Social Security Administration for hiding the information and allowing benefits to be collected on me and my daughter. We were labeled dead people, okay? And who's involved in that? William Asher? My imposter husband, who was never arrested as a fugitive warrant out of West Virginia, Morgantown. It was Trooper John Analog. So I'm going to ask anybody watching that has balls or a vagina enough to do so, make a call to the State Police Barracks in Morgantown, West Virginia, and ask them about all the aliases and what happened to that fugitive from justice warrant, because he was never arrested. And by the way, he has another wife from Northumberland, New Hampshire. And she worked at the school district in Groveton. Okay? Her name is Brenda. Brenda Lovell, come forward and tell everybody about the benefits you perhaps collected for your daughter all the years that she was growing up and going to school, claiming that your husband was dead, but he's very well alive right here at the seacoast around Rochester, Somersworth, New Hampshire. Thank you for listening.